All right, friends, how are you today? Aaron here, bringing your daily horoscope for the 11th of December 2019. Now, although the full moon technically happens at 12:11 a.m. Thursday morning, this is going to be our full moon video, right? Because, like we got our friends in LA over there, it's going to happen at 9:11 p.m., right? So anyway, we're going to talk about the full moon happening today. There's a lot going on. So let me show you the chart real quick and kind of walk our way through it and get into it, because there's a lot of energy going on. Because we've got Venus and Saturn meeting up early in the morning on the 11th. Okay, we have Chiron creating some quintiles to the moon. Let me just show you here. This is a lot going on, right? All right. So let me rewind this many hours. Early in the day. Okay. Let's see here. Venus and Saturn meeting up at 6 a.m. When some of us are just getting up in the morning, some of us are going to be snoozing. Okay, this is a big deal. This is our planet of love, wants, and desires in the sign of Capricorn, which Capricorn makes everything real. This is our public image. Okay, this is the high road. This is getting the job done. No matter what it is, we're going to see it through to the very end. Right? And now Saturn here is the ruling planet of the sign of Capricorn. So Saturn is the strict teacher in the zodiac. I say it all the time. This is there's only one way to turn coal into a diamond, and that's a ton of pressure. So we're going to put pressure on ourselves to make sure that we are indeed following through. Right? So look over here. Like Aries is the start, the beginning, the initiation of the zodiac. And then it's like feeling our emotions, the cardinal signs, and feeling our emotions, understanding our relationships with other. And this is about, completing things. A little different from how we see over here in Neptune, a sign of completion. But these last three are very, very important signs of the zodiac. But here we're bringing things into final form, as this is an earth sign, okay? So this is about construction and creating something larger than life, and with the help of other people. So what we love and what we desire, while we follow through with this stuff and we say, yes, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to yoga. I'm going to get up. I'm going to exercise today. I'm going to get up and do just, 5 minutes of a meditation or 5 minutes of a deep breathing, whatever it is. Yes, I'm going to change my diet. Yes, I'm going, again, our public image counts here. This is how the world sees us as individuals, right? Capricorn is definitely the sign of our own individuality here in the zodiac. Okay, again, so is Leo, but this is about ego and this is about self. But Capricorn again is the I am me. We are connected. Yeah, there's all this oneness stuff here in Pisces, but it's just like I am me. I'm the only one that can breathe my breath. I'm the only one that can lift the weights for myself. I'm the only one that has these particular wants and desires, and it's up to me to see this through. So that's what I mean when we're talking about our individuality, okay? So a very, very big day in the sense of Venus and Saturn meeting up in the sign of the make it happen, right? Making it happen no matter what's going on. We're going to make this stuff happen. Now, as you see here, okay, Chiron creating the quintile to Saturn and to Venus, Chiron creating the quintile to the moon. Okay, very, very, very cool and powerful aspect, because Chiron, the wounded healer, is here talking about what? We're healing ourselves. The instincts are how we react to things, right? Really big. I say this all the time. It's like, what comes out of our, if we bump into each other and coffee spills out, if we bump into each other's tea spills out, if we bump into each other, anger spills out, if we bump into each other, love, forgiveness spills out. So this is the kind of healing that Chiron is doing, is that natural reaction, because that's what Aries is about, that spark, that initial that pow, So having this connection to Saturn, to Venus, okay, it's about our love, our desires. And what are we going to do to see things through, to heal ourselves, okay? And on the other side of the quintile, where the moon is about, the moon is about emotions, energy and motion, okay? Caring and nurturing. It's Earth's natural satellite, the moon. In the sign of Gemini, it's about all the information, okay? And this day, specifically the full moon, is really highlighting what information am I holding on to that's holding me back. What information am I holding on to that is limiting to me and where I want to go? What information am I holding on to that's limiting me and from becoming the person that I want to be, that I choose to be? You know, very, very, very big with this quintile. And again, when we're talking about the quintiles and the septiles in astrology, this is like a greater unseen force. Okay, so there's the universe is working with us today, you know, in a very, very beautiful way. That unseen, it's like the black mass, or what do they call that? The you know what I'm talking about. It's just the energy that goes through all things, you know. Anyway, moving back on here. All right, let me show you this chart again because we got so much to talk about. Okay, so this is again at 9 a.m. is when these quintiles start. So we're just getting ready to go to, you know, some of us are going to be at work. And you see here as well, we've got a quintile between Neptune and Jupiter. These are our two planets of expansion. And as you see here, Jupiter is squaring Chiron, okay? So what that's saying is like the information that we're absorbing, the information from this higher source that these quintiles are dealing with, the unseen force, this unseen energy that's moving through us all and creating waves and ripples, okay? It's our insight and our intuition, all right? So our insight, intuition, our deep-rooted dreams are meeting up with our planet of expansion in the physical world. Okay, very, very, very powerful, because again, Jupiter is limited by Saturn. Jupiter is expansion within the realm of Saturn. Jupiter is expansion within the limits of Saturn. Okay, then Uranus comes in over here, will break through that, and Neptune says this is expansion beyond the limitations of Saturn. This is my expansion, you know, with the oneness of all things. So when we have these two planets making this fate-style connection, this universe has got our back kind of connection, and Jupiter as well making that trine down here to Uranus, the great awakener, saying like, look, we're going to change the tradition. We're going to change in how we view things. We're going to change on what we think is and what we think isn't. How we've been dealing with things in the past is not how we're dealing with things in the future. Very, very huge. I mean, this is a big game-changing day leading all the way up. It's not just about the full moon here. You know, there's so much other unseen energy going on behind the scenes. Okay, so let's fast forward this a couple hours. Yeah, moon connecting with Chiron. We're still, I mean, to Mars, you know, this quincunx, that 5/12 aspect, quincunx, to Mars. This is still like, what information, you know, shadow work are we doing that we need to move through? You know, this is like energy healing stuff. What work do we have to do through the shadow? What information's coming in that's going to allow us to move through our shadow, right? And then let's just go right to it. All right, Venus is jumping ahead of Saturn here, in between Saturn and Pluto. What a magnificent place for Venus to be. Okay, as we're feeling this transformation, we're feeling the pressure. Like, yeah, I can do this. Whatever it is that I want, love, and desire, I'm going to bring this manifest into reality. And I'm going to watch my whole life transform before my eyes. All right? So now let's just get right into the septile there too. I mean, you know, again, the moon makes these septile and quintiles all the time to all these different planets. I went way too far ahead. Okay, minute by minute here. So this is true. This is some cool numerology. At 12/11, I mean technically 12/12, December 12th. You know, that's what's kind of funny. The whole internet's blowing up like at 12/11 at 12:11 a.m. It's like, well, it's technically happening on the 12th. And if it's going to happen on, you know, the 11th, it's going to happen at 9:11 p.m., right? Anyway, so at 19 degrees here, and at 19 degrees here. So where are we at? In Gemini, it's about all the information. We need to take a look at all of the information here, emotionally. And then our sun here is looking at the higher road, the higher source, the higher power, the higher education, the higher learning, looking at religion, looking at our faith in ourselves, our own abundance, okay? What we can do individually, what can we do as a group? It's like a big potluck, and what I can bring to the table and what you bring to the table and what this person brings to the table and what this person brings to the table. We have a smorgasbord. We have an abundance of food. We have an abundance of knowledge. Okay. And some of the things we're going to enjoy and some of the things we're not. That's the beauty of Gemini. There's both. I like this. I don't like this. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to gravitate towards this. I'm not going to eat this. But it's trying the things. It's trying, and it's opening up to experiencing something new, and it's just like, it's funny when it comes down to those, things like potlucks, and people are like, oh no, I don't want to try that. It's like, well, how do you know you're going to like it or not like it unless you try it? Sometimes we're very pleasantly surprised. And this day, this full moon, we're pleasantly surprised by things that we didn't think we were going to like, or that we thought we had a preconceived notion, coming out to be magnificent miracles on another end, okay? So, I can personally say, through the greatest loss of love, has taught me how to love even deeper and more unconditionally. Through the greatest loss of my dream job when I was 24 years old, I learned how to be a better boss and learn how to create something on my own end and not have to need to go after, what I thought at one point I wanted. It's like, I even used to be a fashion photographer, which is really kind of funny to think about. And it's just like, what we think we want at one point in time in life to do, we realize sometimes there's steps and blocks in the road that's like, this isn't actually what I want. It's what I thought I wanted, okay? So I'm only talking about these as pertaining to the moon in Gemini. Sometimes what we think we want is not really what we need, and sometimes what we don't know that we need is the pure medicine that opens us up to taking that different path, okay? So when we have these doors that are closing on one end, we have, like always, people say it all the time, there's a window opening over here, there's a door opening over here on this end. There's different opportunities that come to rise. So if we're holding on to pain, if we're holding on to hurt, and that's the beauty of the connection that the moon had with Mars earlier on in the day, okay? If we're holding on to something that no longer serves us, if we're holding on to a hurt from an ex, if we're holding on from hurt to an old job, an old boss, if a situation between a roommate didn't work out, or a sibling, or a child that we've had, that they're, it's just like a parent to a child. A parent loves a child, and a parent wants to give unconditionally to whatever, hopefully to whatever the child needs. And sometimes the child might not see the beautiful intentions. It's like, it's the dad that works, is just an analogy. It's the dad that works so much because the dad had very little when he grew up. I'm just using a father for this example, but it can lead to anyone, anything, any, gender. The parent that worked so much, okay, because they didn't have when they were younger. They lived, poor or whatever it may be, that their parents weren't able to provide for them. So they said, in this lifetime, I'm going to work my butt off, so I can provide for my family. And the child might see it like, you were never there. All you cared about was work. All you cared about was money. And the parent says, don't you realize I did this for you? And it's just like, all I ever wanted, the child, all I ever wanted was you. It's not about the thing that you bought me that's underneath the Christmas tree, or the birthday gift, or this big house, or these fancy things. It was your, attention, your touch, your love, your care, your nurturing, right? Moon in Gemini. The information's coming from all ways today. When I'm making this on the 10th as well as the 11th through the 12th, the moon in Gemini is about all the information. And it's like, okay, do we have the ability to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and take a look? and say, oh my God, I do realize that person really loved me, or that boss, what they were trying to do was protect their asset or their whatever it is. And how it trickled down, sometimes, I've definitely worked with people like this where they're so afraid, and they have a mentality of, if you give someone an inch, they're going to take a mile. So what is that on the reverse side of that coin is they're stingy. Penny pinchers or nickel and diming people, because they're afraid to give people room to grow, or to allow them to express their ability in the workplace. Also, it can be, the boss can be intimidated, but it's just like great leaders allow other leaders to lead, it's part of the beauty of that. So, but if we encounter stuff like that, then this is an awakening for ourselves about information, an awakening of information to say, look, because this happened over here on this end, it allowed me to be a better boss, a better son, a better daughter, a better mother, a better father, a better lover, a better boyfriend, a better girlfriend, a better communicator because of a lack of communication to me. Sometimes we can say, man, I wish, I feel alone. I wish so-and-so would hit me up. Flipping it back around. What can I do? I'm going to hit up people. I'm going to make the initiation to make that call, to send that text, to share, I wish people would share these videos, and it's just like, well, am I sharing other people's hard work? Stuff like that, you know what I mean? Not talking about myself necessarily, but it's like, again, flipping the script, and how can I apply myself to be more? It's not what your country does for you, but what you do for your country. It's like, well, what are we doing in all of this? How are we applying ourselves in all of this? Venus in Capricorn. Let's get strict. Let's be stern on ourselves. Let's put in the work, and further, it's like winter is coming, my friends, Have we chopped enough wood to survive? Have we chopped enough wood to survive this winter? Metaphorically. The moon here at 19 degrees, or the sun here at 19 degrees of Sagittarius, that's what this is about. So the moon is about understanding this big smorgasbord. It's understanding things that we like, don't like, understanding that what I bring to the table and you bring to the table is a plethora of knowledge, a plethora of information, an abundance of food, an abundance of knowledge, an abundance of love, an abundance of style, all of these things, all the things. Over here in the sign of Sagittarius, where the sun is, the hero, the ego, our ego, personal self, it's like saying, hey, are we doing the work that we need to prepare ourselves for the future? Coming back to the relationship stuff in regards to that, there's so many of us, and I know not everyone here on this channel is looking for love, but I'm just using this as an example because we can hold on to things from our past that create turbulence in our current or future relationships. So if we're not doing the work on releasing the trauma, to release the pain, to release whatever it is that's going on, that hurt, or the idea that, your ex is a terrible person, or that old boss is a terrible person, whatever it is, we're going to enter the new relationship, the new job, the new workplace in a sense of withholding, and I'm going to wait to see how they do something before I do this. Before I bring my all to the table, I'm going to see how this, I want to be stingy with my ideas and hold them in close to the chest. I want to be stingy with my love and hold it in close to the chest, because I'm not sure yet how you are going to be. But then that's exactly what's happening is we're literally ruining the next relationship. We're ruining the next business partner, because we're not being unconditional. We're not being completely authentic because we're holding on to something of the past that no longer serves our present or our future. That is really powerful. Okay. And that's the beauty of Mars right now. I'm going to come back to the chart here. That's the beauty of Mars creating the trines to the North Node, still reminding us to be compassionate, empathetic, nurturing, caring about the other individual, not playing the role of the martyr saying, I've done this, and I've done this, and I've done this, and what did you do for me? It's like, no, it's not what it's about. It's about being unconditional and about giving, allowing our emotions to flow like water. Okay? Mars here creating, you know, this beautiful energy moving through the shadow, connecting here almost exact, with Neptune. Our dreams and our the unseen desires that move us to creation. Okay, water creation, water earth. This is creation. If this was a fire air, it's destruction, but it's not. We're in the creation station, the imagination station, the power of creation, manifesting this life into reality. Okay, so Mars is doing the hard work right now. Mars is doing that shadow work to allow us, like, look, I want you to live in your dreams. I want you to live in your truth and your authenticity. Okay, and we can make it real together. And although that connection between Saturn and Neptune is over, there's still only 3 degrees apart, really. So it's still a connection, but it's not as powerful as it was just a month, 2 months ago. But it's a very real connection. So again, Mars making sure that we're moving through this shadow work so that we can release the stuff from the past. Okay, Chiron here is stationing. We're about to go direct, which is another beautiful, beautiful aspect. Also, you see that's a sesqui-square, that little square with the line in it, sesqui-square over there to Mars. Saying like, look, you have to move through this stuff. You have to let go of the ideas that all of the people hurt you. You have to let go of the ideas that you're a victim. You have to let go of the blame, taking self-responsibility. Whatever it is in life, it's up to us. The more that we hold on to stuff from the past, the more we hold on to hurt. And sometimes the other people didn't even realize they said or did something that hurt us because we kept it internal. Because our water, our emotions froze over. And we buried it deep down inside, and we chose not to talk about it. Mercury's here in Sagittarius now, saying like, let's talk about this stuff. Let's talk about the information, this information that frees us, creating that trine over here to Chiron. Okay, there's so much energy is like freeing. If we come back into our child, our child's sense of who we wanted to be when we were kids growing up, and what we thought the idea of love looked like, what the idea of beauty looked like, the princess kissing the toad. I don't know, maybe that's not a good example, but either way, and then we have companies, we have these major corporations and saying this is what love should look like, and this is how you should respond to someone when they do this to you, and these magazines like Cosmo and stuff like this that just feeding. I mean, there's not saying that there's not good articles in some of those things or nuggets of good advice, but it's just like the general stuff that we're feeding to the masses is it's misleading. It's misguiding us to going down because they want to sell a product. And they can grab your attention, and if they can identify with you for just a fraction, if just part of you says, oh yeah, that happened to me, and now we can just get in here and start messing with stuff. And it's, again, misleading us to where we don't, it doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve our higher purpose. And that's where the sun is. That's where Mercury is right now, serving our higher purpose. Okay, there's that distant light out there that's worth traveling to. There's something going on out there that's worth visiting, that's worth stepping outside of my comfort zone, that's worth shedding this shadows, these layers that I've been holding on to, that's been creating my armor for years, that's developed into a personality. Why are you bitter? Because this happened to me so long ago, and now I'm, and now I'm guarded. Well, and that turns into disease. It's the science of things, these issues that we hold on to them here in our gut, our belly, and we hold on to them in our brain, and they manifest into dis-ease. That is a fact, so it's like letting this stuff go so we can live our fullest, so we can shine our absolute brightest. It's like if we're a fluorescent tube of light, and it's just collecting dust, all the information, the moon and Gemini, all the information that that we gather throughout a lifetime, and other people's perspectives and other people's opinions, and how you should hate your boss, hate your ex, or this is how you should love, and this is what you should acquire, and you want the fancy car, and you want this, and this is what makes sense. And it's just like, it can be very overwhelming. And all of these little things, it's just like particles of dust that's covering up our light. So this energy, this full moon energy, fully illuminated, right? An opposition. We're seeing the full moon, all the shadows at once, all of the information. And we're talking about 2 signs that deal with all of the information and the higher information. All of the information in Gemini, the higher information in Sagittarius. And again, it's about preparing ourselves for the future. Have we chopped the wood that we need to last this winter? Or are we going to freeze? Are our people going to freeze and die? Are we going to run out of food? So what are we doing right now, today, this next 2 weeks before the Capricorn lunar solar eclipse on the 25th? Okay, huge, connecting with Jupiter as well. We'll talk about it more then. But it's like, what do we, if this is the calling, the answer might come then, but this is the calling. I need to do something. I need to act. I need to be in creation mode. I need to act upon these urges. I need to act upon these instances. I need to communicate and speak my truth. Mercury up there in Sagittarius, and I need to figure out what I need to do to prepare myself for the future. I need to do whatever I have to do to prepare myself to, have that great relationship with the boss. Or if I'm the boss, what can I do to make the great relationship with the employees? How can I be transparent? How can I communicate to others to embody that? Because I've already experienced that which I do not want. That which I do not like leads me to understanding that which I do like, and launching those rockets of desires. Okay? There's a lot of energy, a lot of good stuff going on here. It's a lot of release. It's a lot of recognizing what's in front of us, a lot of recognizing what's behind us. And it's understanding that what is behind us has led us to the present. What's behind us is shaping our future. And what's behind us, there are things that we hold on to, again, that just no longer serve us in the present, that no longer serve us in the future. And it's shifting our perspective to being grateful for all of these things that have shaped us into being who we are now. And now that we are this, right? Now that these things have kind of molded us, and all of the information that's stuck to our fluorescent tube, we're giving it a good dusting. We're cleaning this thing off and allowing our own light to shine. Our own truth. We're speaking our truth and not being in fear. Do we remember all that energy in August? From July to August, all of that, the energy in Leo, when it was this courageous leadership energy, dealing with all this Scorpio energy that's been going on for the past 2 months has been, we might have forgotten where we've coming from, because we've been in that, ooey gooey wet trenches down in the cave, sorting stuff out down in the cave here, and now it's just like, do we remember that we took our own torch down into that cave for a purpose, for a reason, and that's to, re-emerge brighter than ever, learning more than what we had before we went down there, understanding all of this stuff. And again, what can we do now to prepare ourselves better for the future? What can we shed away? What can we focus on? What actions need to be taken place to prepare ourselves for what's coming? And whatever is coming is what you hold here and here, right? In our hearts and in our heads. What's coming is what we desire the most. We're manifesting into this life, right? And it's preparing ourselves for those beautiful things coming. So if we need to release the hurt to gain the better relationship over here, that's the focus. If it's I'm being called to be a teacher, to be a leader, to do something, I need to let go of a fear that maybe someone in the past told me I wasn't good enough. that I wasn't smart enough, that I wasn't handsome enough or pretty enough, whatever it is, you know? And it's completely being fearless and allowing our own light to shine, not cowering down, you know? Like imagine that tube, again, that fluorescent tube, and just pinching it, squeezing it, you know? And it's just like the light, you know, it's not going to emit. So it's standing tall and proud in ourselves, in our own bodies, in our own truth, not holding back here in the communication, allowing ourselves to be. It's a great, great day. So much appreciation. I love you. I wish you enough. We'll see you tomorrow.